Hello! First of all, there's not gonna be a write-up of this video because I am in the middle of preparing for my today's stream, which is gonna be Resident Evil, and we'll start in about, from where I am right now, about an hour, so I don't even have that much time. Secondly, I am kinda tired of covering Hong Kong and China stuff, but it's just so relentless. I mean, these companies just continue digging themselves a grave. So today, Blizzard has released an apology that's not really an apology. And on top of that, it's worded really weirdly, and we're gonna address that a bit later in the video. If you do not have time to watch, just go to the top 3 links in the description and you will know what this is about. You can read all of this text yourself. I believe in you, you can read. Hello Blizzard community, I want to take a few minutes to talk about the Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament the past weekend. On Monday we made the decision to take action against a player named Blitzchung and 2 shoutcasters after the player shared his views on what was happening in Hong Kong and on our official broadcast channel. At Blizzard, our vision is to bring the world together through epic entertainment. And we have core values that apply here. Think globally, lead responsibly, and importantly, every voice matters, encouraging everybody to share their point of view. The actions that we took over the weekend are causing people to question if we are still committed to these values. We absolutely are, and I will explain. Our esports programs are an expression of our vision and our values. Esports exist to create opportunities for players from around the world, from different cultures and from different backgrounds, to come together to compete and share their passion for gaming. It is extremely important to us to protect these channels and the purpose they serve, to bring the world together through epic entertainment, celebrate our players, and build diverse and inclusive communities. As to how those values apply in this case, first, our official esports tournament broadcast was used as a platform for winner of this event to share his views with the world. We interview our competitors who are at the top of the craft to share how they feel. We want to experience the moment with them. Hearing their excitement is a powerful way to bring us together. Over the weekend, Blitzchung used this segment to make a statement about the situation in Hong Kong in violation of rules he acknowledged and understood, and this is why we took action. Every voice matters, and we strongly encourage everyone in our community to share their viewpoints that in the many places available to express themselves. However, the official broadcast needs to be about the tournament and to be at a place where all are welcome. In support of that, we want to keep the official channels focused on the game. Second, what is the role of shoutcasters for these broadcasts? We hire shoutcasters to amplify the excitement of the game, to elevate the watchability and help the esports viewing experience stay focused on the tournament and our amazing players. This says absolutely nothing about why you fired them, by the way. Third, were our actions based on the content of the message? Part of thinking globally, leading responsibly, and every voice matters is recognizing that we have players and fans in almost every country in the world. Blizzard, it is also recognizing that every country in the world will have their own problems that players will inevitably bring to the table. If your country is currently at war, you can't just put that at the back of the mind going, oh yeah, I won a gaming tournament. That is not how it works. If you were winning a gaming tournament from Kenya, you would probably state the social issues that are happening in Kenya in hopes that the world notices and reacts. Because at the moment you have a very big platform to say what you want to say. Our goal is to help players connect in areas of commonality like the passion of our games and create a sense of shared community. The specific views expressed by Blitzchung were not a factor in the decision we made. Oh, I bet. I want to be clear, our relationships in China had no influence on our decision. This is why we have released the Chinese statement stating we are very angered and disappointed at what happened at the event last weekend and highly object to the expression of personal political beliefs in any of our events. As always, we will defend the pride and dignity of China at all costs. Yes, China got nothing to do with it. That's why you're gonna defend China's dignity at all cost. Bravo! We have these rules to keep the focus on the game and on the tournament to the benefit of a global audience, and that was the only consideration in the actions we took. If this had been the opposing viewpoint delivered in the same diverse and deliberate way, we would have felt and acted the same. What if the player said something more generic? If they stood up and said, I believe that slavery is bad. I believe anything, you're not gonna have been enacting this ban, because there have been players on the western side of Grand Championships that stood up with the paper saying Free Hong Kong, and while you switched off their camera, you did not even ban them from progressing in the championship. Because you were afraid it was gonna happen. But oh, if it's an Asian player, it's okay, Blizzard. Is that what you're saying? Okay, what could Blizzard have done better, and where do we go from here? Over the past few days, many players, casters, esports fans, and employees have expressed concerns about how we determined the penalties. We had a chance to pause, to listen to our community, and to reflect on what we could have done better. In hindsight, our process was inadequate and we reacted too quickly. We want to ensure that we maintain a safe and inclusive environment of all our players and that our rules and processes are clear. All of this in service of another important Blizzard value: play nice, play fair. In the tournament itself, Blitzchung played fair. We now believe he should receive his prizing. Oh, now you believe that, don't you? We understand that for some this is not about the prize, and perhaps for others it is disrespectful to even discuss it. This is not our intention. But playing fair also includes appropriate pre- and post-match conduct, including not saying anything bad about China, huh? Especially when a player accepts the recognition for winning in a broadcast. When we think about a suspension, 6 months for Blitzchung is more appropriate, after which time he can compete in Hearthstone Pro Circuit again if he so chooses. I hope he doesn't. I hope he finds a new card game like so many of us did. I am actually in the process of trying to call GDPR on Blizzard's asses, because I am not giving my ID to them for them to delete my personal info, for they do not have access to anything that's on my ID. They have access to my email and telephone number, which they refuse to use to delete my info. They want to collect more info about me in order to be able to delete my account, which was not there when I signed up for that account to begin with years ago. This is a consequence for taking the conversation away from the purpose of the event and disrupting or derailing the broadcast. With regard to the casters, remember their purpose is to keep event focused on the tournament. That didn't happen here, and we're setting their suspension to 6 months as well. Moving forward, we will continue to apply tournament rules to ensure our official broadcasts remain focused on the game and do not insult China, and are not a platform for divisive social and political views. Oh, Blizzard, freedom of speech and, freedom for Hong Kong, so divisive. One of our goals at Blizzard is to make sure that every player everywhere in the world, regardless of political views, religious beliefs, race, gender, or any other consideration, always feels safe and welcome both competing in and playing our games. This is why you didn't post this segment in China, did you? You only posted that previous message where you're gonna be defending China by your life! At Blizzard, we are always listening and finding ways to improve. It is part of our culture. Thank you for your patience with us as we continue to learn. This read it fairly weirdly, if you noticed. And when this was posted, it was 5 p.m. October 11 in USA. Guess where it was October 12th? In China! But time to scroll up. Yes, this. Posted on the 12th, but it's 11 in the US where Blizzard is headquartered. Wait a minute. It's 12th in China. Oh, my. But now we have this very, very long post dissecting the language used in the apology, because it looked structured a tiny bit weird. It's even harder for me to read because this is a weirdly structured English post read by a foreigner. It's double weird. I've been keeping quiet out of fear, but as an English major and Chinese speaker, I feel like I really need to point this out since I don't know how many people will know enough to explain. The Blizzard post really seems like it was written by a Chinese, non-native English speaker. Before I go into this, I want to point out that the tone and language is all over the place. Some are more native English phrasings, others seem like typical Chinese, which makes me think that there is a cobbling together here. In China, it is very common to use ellipses and space them out like this. This just doesn't happen in English. Usually this starts in the first person and uses casual contractions. What's happening? Contractions doesn't exist in China, so use them in formal situation is a common error. The structuring. In Chinese writing, it's typical to add what an English teacher might call topic sentences at the beginning and end of paragraphs. This isn't very conventional and sounds very heavy-handed in English. The actions that we took over the weekend are causing people to question if we're still committed to these values. We absolutely are, and I will explain. In the same vein, headers containing incomplete clauses or rhetorical questions before paragraphs are common in Chinese, but clunky in English. For an OV example, look at the HZC crystal callout. Also, why are the bliss parts indented? Doesn't it look like it was copy and pasted? Yeah, that whole of that structuring indentation, really weird. Really weird. This header, okay, makes it obvious that there are two voices here minimum. Whoever wrote this and whoever wrote the indented statement. Copy and pasting official bliss statements is even weirder. If there is an official bliss statement, why are we getting it in this wrapper? Once again, pointing out the wrapper. We then get into this long section where the grammatical indicators become apparent, using when we think about instead of the present participle of thinking or something else, because think isn't really the best word here. It's too personal for a statement, is another Chinese sign. In Chinese, verbs don't have different conjugations. E.g., think is just think. To indicate time, it looks like when I think back, I once think, not thought. I think, words serving the purpose of ing, because words like thought and thinking just don't exist. So using when we think about, maybe Chinese in China, which is kind of awkward and unfitting in English instead of looking back on, considering are, is a red flag. In the same vein, why with regard to instead of regarding? It's not wrong, just weird. Also in Chinese, there are no plurals, no dogs or cats, only dog or cat. See, there is a consequence instead of native English phrasing, there are consequence. That is everything that pops out to me immediately, and I'll add if I find anything else weird. So why is this statement like this? It's not a vocal recording of Ellen Brack. Here's what Ellen Brack sounds like. It's not him, then who is it? Why a non-native English speaker? Why didn't PR edit this? What is going on? That is very, very excellent statements. Why is Blizzard's apology being written by a Chinese person and published from China? But you know, we have no proof of this, just their wonky wording, so I'm gonna leave this as a amusing conspiracy theory for now. But didn't rub me the right way, and the writing was definitely wonky, so Blizzard is just digging themselves an even deeper hole.